Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binaries, intergalactic, interplanetary time travelers. I salute you. This is Oliver, and I'm outside the bunker here in the People's Republic of Portland, Oregon, the Republic of Multnomah County. And I just wanted to spray a couple of things. I don't want to do a big, deep diatribe. There's so much going on. There's so many things that there's really no sense in me even talking about. It's just heart-wrenching things that are happening right now. We're on the brink of World War IV, I call it, but World War III for all conventional purposes. I think that already happened, but my heart's heavy. I can feel a lot of dead people's souls. Just, I don't know where they're going. I don't know if they're circling Earth. I don't know if they're just here in the atmosphere and they haven't broke. I don't know how it works. I'm not going to pretend that I do. But seeing the videos will confirm what we're feeling, right? You don't need psychic intuition when you see all these little babies and children on all sides, everybody. But it's October 27th, 2023. We're on the brink of a civilization collapse. How do you make a video and talk about that? It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. But the one thing I did want to mention is we're in October Eclipse season. I've been doing these cool little mini eclipse paintings. I got them over here at this market next door, and hopefully they'll sell some of them. She's got to find a place to put them on the wall. They got so much stuff on the walls, crap that I'll never sell. I said, you gonna sell those hats? Let's replace the hats with some artwork. I think the artwork is gonna sell, lady, boss lady. But anyway, it was cool that they took those eclipse pieces in. So we're in eclipse season. Tomorrow, we've got another lunar eclipse. Okay, so we had the solar eclipse a couple weeks ago when all shit fucking broke loose. So we got another one coming up this Saturday, tomorrow. And it's a full moon. And we got a whole bunch of a cluster in Scorpio. Scorpio is the stinger, the scorpion, the poisonous, revenge, payback, the big payback. Bam, bam, cue James Brown. It's the big payback. But it's savagery at its best, and it's like clockwork. The Scorpio energy comes into the war theater, into the false flag psyops. I mean, we've had military men popping out of fucking snares and blasting up bowling alleys, and God, rest in peace. All you see those people's pictures, those are good, all American, honest, small town people. Look just like me. Big gray beards, big oversized guys with their children. Look just like me. Blasted to hell in a bowling alley, in a pub, in a bar. Apparently it's a family-friendly bar because there was children there leaving. I don't want to get into that false flag operations there. There's something very, very wrong with that card operation, Mr. Card, which that in itself is a spook name. If anybody knows anything about spook aliases, it's often like colors, green, Mr. Black, Mr. Card. Yeah, come on. I mean, what? Is he working with Mr. Diamond and Mr. Spades? Fuck. False flags. And we ain't done. In fact, it's going to get worse tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday, all weekend. This is false flag. And even worse, well, just as bad, because it's going to be a bloodbath this weekend. The new moon in 2 weeks is in Scorpio. So you got Sun in Scorpio, I think Mercury, whatever the cluster is, there's a whole, I haven't looked at the charts. There's so much darkness and despair. I don't even need to look at the charts and discuss what kind of darkness could be happening or what kind of red flags could be happening, because it's right here in real time. We're seeing bloody babies dead being held by their fathers. I don't need astrology to tell you we're in deep fucking shit right now. brutal. It'll choke up the strongest motherfucker out there. I can tell you that right now. Strong men choked up from seeing this shit going down on video. And it needs to be seen. Don't blur the videos. Don't blur the images. Don't censor anything. We need to show everybody exactly what the fuck is going on. Every goddamn dead, limp body. Show it. And show it again and again. These cheerleaders for war, these lords of war, they're working with Satan. That's not working with God. That's not a higher power. Who would Jesus bomb? Answer me that, you lords of war. Who would Jesus bomb? Jesus don't bomb anybody. Blessed are the peacemakers. They shall inherit the kingdom of heaven. Most of you are not going to be entering the kingdom of heaven. That's God's decision, not mine. But I wanted to talk briefly about another thing as far as the psychic intuition. And a couple weeks ago, well, the start of the month, before shit really started rolling, my daughter and I we heard the caw of red-tailed hawks above the apartment complexes where it started. And you just recognize that kind of stuff. So when I heard that caw, I jump up and we look out and I said, and you hear all the crows. The crows are going bananas, right? So it's turf wars. That's real common, at least around here, and we follow that. I guess if you're totally tuned out and, you know, you're on vodka and Xanax, or if you're just a totally clueless buffoon without any substance abuse, you might miss that shit. But when you're in tune with what's going on universal spiritual vibrations, you pay attention to that kind of stuff, and you pay attention to signs. You pay attention to the animal world because they're connected to the spirit world and connected to the earth in ways that your brain is detached intentionally. Like a car accident victim, the PTSD, the trauma, the blunt force trauma in your brain has turned off your extrasensory perceptions. It's turned off your intuition. So my daughter, we hear that, we jump, lace up the boots, jump out, and we head straight to the park. We head on down to Mount Scott Park. Beautiful 100-year-old plus old growth trees. Sure enough, there's the red-tailed hawks. And there's 2 of them. There was 3. Now, I just saw 3 eagles circling over me when I first came here about an hour ago. I just talked to a friend, my neighbor, tenant, for about 40 minutes about all this crazy shit going down. And he's totally in tune. This guy, my neighbor, total in vibration, totally in tune. You never would guess. You never would guess. He was. And he spoke the truth right to me. And I understood most of what he was saying to me. But these signs, people mock it. People like to mock. Oh, everybody wants a sign, and oh, you're going to make sense. You're going to interpret this and interpret that, and oh, it's a sign. Hoo-hoo. Tell us more, psychic gypsy palm reader. Signs are real, and often you don't really pay attention to when it's happening when you see things. Like indigenous, for example. Indigenous, when they saw the snowy owl meant great changes. Middle of winter, snowy owl, that's a time when a lot of death happens when you're indigenous and you don't have your gas stove and you don't have your heaters, right? But that's in mythology. That's in indigenous culture, First Nations. The snowy owl means there's great change coming. 2 hawks. And then as I'm trying to get a Mickey Mouse camera angle of it, the 2 hawks are circling and we're chasing those around the park. We went to one end to the other. And then right over our heads go several turkey vultures. Several brown turkey vultures where I had to double take. I've never seen that before right over our heads. We don't see that here in Southeast. We haven't seen any turkey vultures for 4 years that we've been here. Certainly not a bunch of them circling. So we saw several of those and my daughter and I were just stunned. She said some things out loud and we were just like, What the fuck is that? And then I'm like, oh, those must be crows. And I'm like, they're too fucking huge. They're not even flapping. It's like, turkey vultures, it's like stealth bombers. Stealth bombers. The turkey vultures fly like stealth bombers, my friends. Okay? So you have two hawks, Israel and Palestine, IDF and Hamas. Those two hawks, they weren't necessarily fighting each other, but they symbolized these two war hawks, these two war states, these two war factions. The turkey vultures, when we darted across the park, it doesn't take long. It's not a huge park, right? We get to the other side, and I see the several turkey vultures that went over our heads into a larger group of turkey vultures, probably about a mile down. I could hardly see them. I tried shooting video, and it just was like amateur shit, right? You just can't see it. It's just like little specks. It's like salt and pepper in the sky, right? It's like, fuck. And they joined this larger turkey, the vultures that circle over dead carcasses. See? So this signs, this symbolism was talking about the coming doom. Now, think about for a second the so-called, the legend. I'm still trying to piece it all together. I got a lot of questions about who it was clearly allowed to happen. You can't tell me Mossad and all the rest of these Israeli intelligence, the high tech, that they didn't know what was going on or didn't react till several hours later after you got a massacre of your beloved children at a rave party. It's really fucked up. Now we're seeing some videos where there was IDF and military doing gun battles, and the ravers were actually shot in the middle. How many of those ravers were actually shot by IDF? Not intentionally, but you could debate that. I'm not right now, but I'm saying that they were crossfire, caught in the crossfire, got in the crossfire. What was that? Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Actually, I think it goes back even before then. He did the version, but the point is, the fucking story, Dad. Those paragliders were the motherfucking turkey vultures in front of us. Think about it. We didn't see that happening. None of us saw what they're calling the worst massacre since the Holocaust of Jews. Nobody saw that. We saw it. It was happening above our heads, in between earth and heaven. The symbolism was there, and the spirit world showed us. Paragliders, like fucking cavemen turkey vultures, dropping in with machine guns. Turkey vultures, symbolizing mass death and great death coming. We just saw this weeks ago. So, and now I thought they might have been the hawks, a little bit bigger. I saw the whites of the tails. So the juveniles of those eagles are brown. They're brown until they develop and mature. These all had white tails. Probably a mother and the two offspring. I've seen 3 like a year or 2 ago. We'll see them occasionally. They get up, they're up so high they look like specks. It's very, very difficult. But this one, these came down just now today. So those 3, you could go into whatever symbolism of threes. Threes are over and over and over again in my life, including my birthdays and daughter's birthdays and cousins' birthdays and all kinds of threes, right? My whole life. I'm a 3 guy. And I know some of you are like, oh, motherfucker, he's 33-degree Freemason. No, I'm not a free fucking Mason. Freemasons built Portland. There's a lot of fucking reality checks on you mofos. That doesn't mean I'm involved with it. Doesn't mean I think it's cool. It just means that's history. But you've got those turkey vultures symbolizing that death. So we have to be aware of our surroundings. I'm very concerned of the bloodbath this weekend on multiple levels. In the staged, I've been thinking that for a week. Before these staged military base gunshots, That story's been totally suppressed and buried because they're still looking for the whack job, or whack jobs plural, who apparently escaped on a $100,000 Bayliner that he owned. That's the story now. Found his car near the river where the boats were, and it's what they're saying. It's not me saying it. So they got to find that motherfucker. He's probably dead. They said they found a gun or something. Who knows what the truth is, you know? I mean, I'm hearing all kinds of stories. I don't want to get into that guy because it's clearly a false flag operation. The feds are watching him. The feds are there before it happens, prior. That's what reports are coming out. The scanner's saying that there was Middle Eastern guys left in a maroon car. I don't know about that. There's so much misinformation. The fog of war is like on steroids, and it's beyond just that. It's obviously intel ops from all over making shit up. Not just about that story, but all the motherfucking stories. It's a massive psychological operation on the America. If you don't see that, I'm sure you do see that. So those are a couple things I wanted to get off my mind. Heads up, be safe. Treat anywhere you are right now just like the orders in Maine. Stay inside. Stay out of crowds. Just stay inside. Stay with your family and hold your loved ones. Just for this weekend, and you're like, oh, dude, you're freaking out. Oh, boy, man, you've succumbed to the terrorism. You have. They're in your head, dude. They've taken over. No, they haven't. Sorry, bro. But it's about being precautious and anticipating with the open borders. It's beyond sleeper cells. We probably have sleeper platoons. I mean that. I mean, it's not just like some little, jerry-rigged cavemen alliance at this point. This is way beyond that, and it's real, and it's going to happen more. So it's already happening, right? I mean, fuck. So, anyway, I think I'll end there, just because I can't see anything, and I know it's too long, and I've said too much, but. It's kind of interesting, that symbolism of the story of what we saw and the three bald eagles. The three eagles, to me, it's just speaking volumes of the military and probably the British and probably maybe another ally. What would be the three ally offensive warhawks? The eagles. The screaming eagles to me kind of symbolizes the U.S., right? I mean, that's the eagle. So anyway, God bless, man. Be safe. Full moon, lunar eclipse. I forget what it's in. It's not Scorpio, but there's a lot of stuff in Scorpio, and I do not like Scorpio. It's a time of bloodbaths and revenge. So be safe. Peace out.